Thank you.
Hey, well, thank you so much. That was great. Good evening, team. Lovely to see you all and to be connecting with the Vision team on this Thursday night. I feel very privileged to have you all in our lives. I really do. And Mom, thanks so much for that. I was just listening to that upgrade, and for all the new distributors, I see there's a nice blend of old distributors and some new distributors on this call. And so specifically for the new distributors, the upgrade that Nola just did from distributor to manager, to senior manager, to executive manager, to director, that process has to be taking place. If you're in this business to grow a business, to earn an income, you have to be progressing through those titles that Nola spoke about. And there's only one way to progress through those titles, and that is to sponsor people into your business. This is not a business that you succeed on your own. There's a little saying, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. And I think that describes this business perfectly. You succeed as a team. I was listening to Antoinette was recognized on a call a little while back, and what she said, it's a team effort. She recognized her team. It's a team effort. It is, because when you achieve something in this business, it's not just you. It happens as a team. So Rory and Nola have asked me to talk about sponsoring tonight. And sponsoring is what gets this business going. Whether you are new in this business and you want to start your journey, you're going to have to learn to sponsor. Whether you're old in this business and you want to create momentum, sponsoring is going to be the solution to creating that momentum. Doesn't matter where you are in this business. And I know we all love the product, and that's the number one daily success habit. But loving the product is not enough to succeed in this business. It's important that you love the product, but we all know, take a restaurant owner. He can love his product. He can eat his product every night in his own restaurant. But unless he's getting other people into his restaurant is not growing, is not making an income. And it's the same with this business. We have to be sponsoring people. So that second daily success habit of having the ability to share the product and the opportunity with others, that is what we call sponsoring. You're either finding new customers or you're finding new distributors. And the good news, when I started this business, what my parents said to me is, sponsoring is a skill anybody can learn. We look at all the world team members and all of our president's team members and Emerald directors. I can tell you one thing, they all started this business. They were no good at sponsoring. None of them. They all were pretty shocking at sponsoring, but it's a skill that they developed through practice. So I'm going to do a very practical training here. I hope you don't mind. It's not going to be a rah-rah exciting. It's going to be a very practical training that the aim of it is to give you some skills which I believe will help you become a better sponsor of people into your business. So let me share my screen with you guys. So who's this training for? It's a dual training. It's for you, and it's a training that we need to equip your team on. And so it's very important that we are, if somebody, when you do sponsor people, we are equipping them with the same information. And what I have here is a picture of a funnel. And let me sort my screen out. A picture of a funnel. What does that mean? Every business has a prospecting or a leads funnel. Some businesses advertise online, some businesses advertise on TV, some businesses advertise in newspapers, magazines, billboards. Some businesses don't advertise, but they pay a lot of money to have a premises that has high traffic volume going past them. And so they normally paying a lot of money to get leads into this funnel. Your business, you don't have to pay that money, but we are, in essence, we are a business of reaching out to people. Reaching people is all this business is about, reaching out to people. Whether you're doing that, reaching out to somebody in a shop, reaching out to somebody in the bank, reaching out to a neighbor in your road or in your complex, reaching out to somebody at a market or having a stall at a market or an expo, reaching out to somebody in your running club or your sports club or your squash club, reaching out to your friends, your relatives, your neighbors. And then obviously the other thing that we need to start doing is social media. That's a new one that is really coming into this leads funnel. Is we got to not only, but we got to start bringing in social media is a great way to reach out to people and find those leads. And I look at this and I go, okay, well, this is exciting because it takes a lot of pressure off you. Because often as distributors, we really have this pressure that everybody we talk to, we connect to somebody at the running club, we've got to sponsor them and we've got to let's take that pressure off. Let's just reach out to them. Let's start building that relationship. Let's just put them into that lead funnel with no real alternative motive. Let's just make a friend. Okay, that's what that lead, that yellow section is all about. Reaching out to people, establishing a connection. And then down the line, if they either stay as leads or they are going to become prospects. Okay. And as a prospect, I'm going to go through a 4-step inviting process with you in a second. Then they will either become customers or distributors. So how do we get people into this lead funnel? We call it the 4-step inviting formula. Okay, the 4-step inviting formula. It's called 4 steps because there's literally just 4 steps that you need to learn and to master. The first one is you got to create rapport and connect with people. That's reaching out to people. That's the yellow part of that funnel. Is you got to maybe step out of your comfort zone to reach out and be friendly. And Nola spoke about it, our attitude and our mindset. That is probably one of the easiest ways to connect with people, create rapport, and to build relationships and to stand out. Because right now there's so much negativity. But if you just flip that over and you get excited about the future, immediately you have something different about you. So make sure that you are somebody that is excited about the future. You're not talking about problems and bad things. When you have a conversation, you tell people about the exciting things that you have planned and that you're working towards. Creating rapport is giving sincere compliments. You're paying somebody a sincere compliment, not just for the sake of giving a compliment, but really if you see something that you can recommend them on or compliment them on, make that compliment. People love to be complimented sincerely. Find common ground. If you're a mom and they have kids, talk about their kids. You can always find something in common with you and the kids. If they work in the same kind of industry or business as you, find common ground. Are they interested in nutrition? Find common ground. Do they do the same sports as you? Do they come from the same hometown that you used to? Find common ground, because that really just gets them thinking, hey, they just like me. Learn to ask great questions. Okay, and this is all building the rapport with people and connecting with people. When we say ask great questions, I think what you can read into that is do more listening than talking. Do more listening than talking. We know for sure people love to talk about themselves. When they're talking about themselves, they find the conversation more interesting. And it's been proven that they actually trust you more when they do more of the talking. So ask questions around their family, their occupation, their recreation, and genuinely get to know people and become a professional friend maker. And you do that by asking questions and listening. Okay, so connect with people and you just putting them into that leads funnel of yours. The second aspect is you need to discover a need. And now just to go back to connect and connecting with people, often people say, Drew, I just don't know anybody. Like I don't connect with anybody. I can't help you with that. That is a challenge that you're going to have to figure out. You're going to have to dig deep, roll up your sleeves and get creative in how you are going to meet people. And all businesses are around solving challenges. If that is your challenge, if you're saying, Drew, I just don't know anybody, we're going to say, solve that challenge if you want to grow your business. Figure it out. The second thing is discover needs. Okay, leads are discovered most effectively by asking great questions, just as creating rapport. And when you ask people questions, they love to talk about themselves, but what they love to talk about even more than themselves is their problems. Have you noticed that? People will tell you everything that is going wrong in their lives, with their health, with their family, with their relationships, with their time, before they tell you what's going right. Okay, and this is actually quite good for your business. And after hearing their need, we don't jump too quickly into inviting them. Okay, we always dig a little deeper. Yeah, so what do you mean by that? Or can you tell me more about that? Somebody might say, I can't believe, can you believe it? In COVID, my boss cut my income by half. You can say, what was that like? How did you deal with that? Have you tried ways to plug that income? And they might say, well, we tried to sell some cookies at a stall and didn't work. And you can say, well, why do you think it didn't work? So when you uncover that need, I know as a distributor, it happens to us all the time. We want to just jump on that need and say, well, I've got the solution. No, just take your time, step back, dig into that need, get them to uncover that need a little bit more, because when they are uncovering that need even more and more, they're just talking themselves into the solution that you actually have for them. So discover that need. And if you get the opportunity, you share your story with them. Or if you don't have a story that connects with them, you share somebody else's story. Now, we're not going to talk about sharing stories tonight, but I think maybe on another training call, we can actually do how to share your 2-minute story. And your story is just a very effective way in connecting with people and saying, hey, Mary, I totally understand how you feel. 2 years ago, I was feeling just like you. I couldn't actually get through the day. I was exhausted. I had no energy. I'm just so grateful a friend reached out to me and showed me this product, which at first I didn't think it would work, but it has been life-changing. It's rolled back my age by 10 or 15 years. I get down to the gym at least 5 times every week, and I just have more energy that I know what to do with. You share your story, connect with them, or if you don't have a story, you can share somebody else's story. John, you mentioned that you lost half your income in COVID. It just reminded me of one of my colleagues' stories. Exactly the same thing happened to him, and he was on the verge of losing his home. And somebody reached out to him and showed him how to make an additional 10,000 Rand a month or how to make extra money in his part-time from home. And it was a lifesaver for him. So that is why we always log on to these calls, so we can hear different stories, because we can borrow people's stories. We don't make them as our own, but you can use them as your colleagues' stories, as your friends' stories, to connect with people who have a need. Okay. Step number 3 is we need to be able to effectively invite people. Once we have their need, unless you know their need, what are you going to invite them to? You've got nothing to really invite them to unless you know what the need is, right? And so if you have a need, you're going to invite them to have a look at the solution. And the solution is either going to be your near life product, or it's going to be a near life opportunity. Remember, the daily success habit number 2, we're sharing our product and we're sharing our opportunity. And this is where it comes in. And we use what we call a power question. And that power question is this: if I, would you? Okay, so write that down. If I, would you? So Mary, last week you're telling me about how you just have no energy, and it really is a concern of yours. I mentioned to you that I think I have a product that could help you out. If I invited you onto a nutrition talk tomorrow night at 7, would you join me? If I sent you a 2-minute video that would tell you more about it, would you watch it? John, you're losing 50% of your income has almost flattened you financially. I've got something which I really think can help you. I believe it could be the solution to your financial challenges. If I invited you down to a presentation on Saturday morning, would you join me? If I invited you onto a Zoom call to find out more about it, would you join me? Okay, if I, would you? And so it's such a broad power question. You can use it in any which way that you want. If I, would you? Just a little tip I want to give you here is when you call them to make an invite, or if you message them to make an invite, let's just use calling as an example. Don't make a phone call and talk about the weather, talk about their family, and then say, oh, by the way, very important, make the call specifically about the invite. So you might phone and say, hey, John, listen, I've only got a second. I'm about to pick up the kids from school. So this is great, because if you're going to pick up the kids from school, schedule in 2 or 3 calls before you pick up the kids from school, so you have a valid excuse. If you're about to go into a meeting or you're about to feed the kids, make sure schedule 2 or 3 calls in before you do that activity. And I'm going to tell you why now. You can say, hey, John, listen, it's Drew here. Look, I'm about to pick up the kids, so I've only got a second to talk. But you mentioned to me that you lost your income. I've got something which I think could help. If I invited you to join me on a Zoom presentation tomorrow night, would you join me? Would you log on and take a look? Hey, Mary, I'm about to feed the kids, so I've only got a second. But I really believe I've got something that could help you get your energy back. If I sent you a 2-minute video that would tell you all about it, would you watch it? Okay, so we do this. We've only got a second because often they're going to say, well, tell me more about it. And there's no ways. I don't care how good you are. Rory McDermott, Nola McDermott, they can't explain this business to somebody over the phone. Okay, you need some time. And so you can say, well, listen, I can't talk to you about it right now. Can you join me at the presentation on Saturday? Or, so you can basically cut the call. You don't have to go into a long call trying to explain it to them. Okay, so you ask them a question, can you join me at the presentation? And you listen for the answer, you stop talking. And now they're going to say no, or they're going to say yes. But this is what we found. When you ask this question and you offer them a solution to their challenge, 9 times out of 10, they say yes. Because they don't want to contradict themselves. They don't want to say no to a solution that they've been complaining about. And when they say yes, you say, great. Would you like me to pick you up? Or do you want to meet me there? Or great. When do you think you'll get a chance to watch it? If you're sending them something, or when do you think you'll get a chance to read the article I'm going to send you? So you wait for them to give you the answer. And then step 4, you need to be able to follow up. And when do you follow up? When they told you the above. And so the first follow up would be, if it was a physical presentation, would be to meet them at the presentation. The other follow up, if they said that they would join you on a Zoom call, you'd phone them after that Zoom call. The other follow up, if they said they'll watch the 2-minute Pro Vitality video that you sent them, and they said, I can do it tomorrow night, I'll feed the kids at 7, I can watch it at 8. You say, great, I'll phone you at 8:10. And so you follow up when you agreed in the invite. Okay, so that's what we call the 4-step invite process. Create rapport, discover their needs, become great at discovering people's needs. Once you understand what their need is there a need for your product? Is there a need for your opportunity? You invite them. And you invite them using the power question, if I would you, if I would you. You don't have to become somebody else. You don't have to become another person. You bring your personality, you bring the relationship that you have with that person to this invite process. And then you follow up with them. So it's 4 simple steps. So what happens when you invite somebody? Just sort my screen out here, 1 second. Okay, when you invite somebody, they're either going to say yes or they're going to say no. Now you have to expect no's. You really are going to have to expect no's. Some people don't do the invite process because they're too scared to hear the no's. You're going to have to be okay with no's. And here's a few examples of how we can be incorrect about the no's that we get. You think, I need them to say yes. You don't need them to say yes. Okay, you don't have to feel that you need them to say yes. Normally people get this feeling where they say, I need them to say yes, when they're not talking to enough people and they're only talking to a handful of people. And so they need all of them to say yes. When somebody says no, you think they'll never be interested. That's not correct. When somebody says no, you think, I failed. That's not correct. You haven't failed. You've absolutely succeeded. You think, I'm not good at this. They are rejecting me. I've gotten so many no's. I don't think I can do that. Those are just some of the ways to incorrectly interpret these no's. Here are some of the ways to correctly interpret the no's. And I would like us to develop the mindset around this. They need this more than I need them. If they say no, it's not you. They need this more than I need them. Okay, because you've already established their need. A no is not a never. It's just not a right now. And if you talk to anyone, you talk to Viv Body, talk to Bonnie Lucy, talk to Antoinette Zeely, talk to any people on these calls, they've had people say no to them and have turned out to be great distributors. If somebody says no to you, just know I'm one person closer to a yes. I'm one person closer to a yes. You might have to hear 5, 6, 7 no's before you hear the yes. Ask yourself, what can I learn to get better for next time? You're hearing somebody say no, it's a great learning opportunity for you. What did you say? What can you say to get better? It's not personal. If somebody says no to you, it's not personal. You can still be their friend. I haven't gotten nearly as many no's as world team members. Yeah, and our world team members and our president's team members, they're only where they are because they've had more people say no to them than anybody else. It's as simple as that. Handling objections. Just a few things about handling objections. I think this is another training session I'd like to do with you guys all in itself, how to handle objections, because you are going to get objections. Get excited about objections because they are not a no. They're just objecting to what you had. They got questions. They're not cynical. They might be curious. They might be what do you call it? They're not cynical. They are what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, don't be defensive about an objection. Okay, we need to train ourselves and train you on how to handle objections. And being defensive isn't one of the ways. In fact, we need to welcome objections. It means that they likely have an interest. Now, I don't know if Rory is listening to this call, but Rory and I had a hilarious meeting in Pretoria, probably about 3 weeks ago. We did a fantastic presentation. Everyone was very excited. And then when we came to, we did the product, then we drew the circles, we did an opportunity presentation. And then when we came to close the meeting, there was this one lady at the back that had been taking notes, and she hadn't given us, she hadn't smiled, she hadn't done anything the whole meeting. And she posed quite a harsh objection in front of all the excited people. In fact, she posed a number of objections in front of a lot of people. And we had to navigate these objections. And I thought there's no ways, I prejudged it from the start. I thought there's no ways that this lady is going to join this business. In fact, I wished she wasn't at this meeting. I had a call from her from the host of the meeting 2 or 3 nights later saying, "You won't believe it, Inga wants to join." I was like, "Who's Inga?" She said, "The lady that was so negative." I said, "I don't believe it." She said, "She's got the money. She's joining tonight." Okay, so she joined. Now get this, 10 minutes before this call started, I get a message from her sponsor saying this. Okay, sorry, not again, Nadia was her name. Nadia just became a manager. So this incredibly skeptical lady that gave us all these objections 3 weeks ago, not only did she join, she became a manager because we are able to handle her objections. So don't be scared of objections. It's often a sign of a person that really is interested and passionate about finding something that they want to excel at. Okay, and just finally, the only way to fail in this business is to quit. No one ever fails in this business. You're going to fail many times, but you're going to get up. You're going to fail, you're going to get up. You're going to fail, you're going to get up. The only time you actually ever fail is when you quit and you stop. If you keep going, you win. Not just keep going, not just keeping in the business, keep going by taking action, you'll succeed in this business. If you keep going, you'll continue to grow and improve in this business. The hardest part of this business is in the beginning when you're still developing the skills, and you will succeed. And so just to recap, number 1, start a lot of conversations, make friends, get people into your funnel. Number 2, tell your story, connect with people, be able to share your story clearly and concisely. Use the 4-step inviting formula, connect with people, discover their needs, invite them. Invite people to take a look. If I, would you? And then follow up with them. Follow up with them and follow up them. View no's and objections positively. And following up with, I'm actually just going to cover this. This is going to take me 2 minutes because I think this is an important part of it. Just in the following up. Okay, remember, connect with people, discover needs, invite, follow up. These are the sales stats. These aren't opinions, these are sales stats right now. 48% of salespeople never follow up with a prospect. 25% of salespeople make a second contact and stop. 12% of people make only 3 contacts and stop. Only 10% of salespeople make more than 3 contacts, only 10%. Now, here's the reality. Only 2% of sales are made on the first contact, 3% on the second contact, 5% on the third, 10% of sales and new signups are made on the 4th contact. And get this, 80% of sales are made on the 5th to 12th contact. So you never stop following up. And somebody's found a way to draw my board. I don't know how. So you never stop following up. 80% of sales are made on the 5th to 12th contact. So Pops, I can see on the screen there, I think there's 3 things we need to schedule in. 1 training session on how to share your story. 2nd training sessions on how to handle objections. And the 3rd training session on how to effectively follow up with people. And this was the first of the series of how to effectively invite people. So guys, I hope that was a little bit of useful, practical information. The bottom line is you have to be sponsoring people in your business. If you got 1 person this month, that's okay. 1 is better than none. Shoot for 5 in the month of April. If you got 5 in March, shoot for 10 in April. But always, every single month, I really would like you guys to make sure that you beat the previous month's sponsoring and never miss a month where you don't personally sponsor. So thank you, guys, for your time this evening.